everybody. Good morning.
Really is that simple.
Good morning, Facebook Live. Welcome to the Ralph Graves Jr. Show.
If you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart,
Tell somebody
Jesus
we're
Christ
on today's topic. We're talking about, guys, real fast. Talking about how playing it safe is risky. Playing it safe when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to being who God called you to be. We're talking about playing it safe and how risky it is.
So
have somebody tune in and share. We're on www.dbam.com. We're also on 860 AM on the dial-in tuner.
God, I have sinned.
Call-in numbers 888-329-3306.
But I want you in my life.
Would love to have
I believe that Jesus Christ is your son.
So we're
that
going
he
live
is the
on
risen
the air in
Savior.
about 3 minutes. But
and that he died for my
I
sins.
want to say what's up to you guys first. Good morning.
I
Good
am
morning.
ready
Hope
to
all
turn
is
over
well.
my life to you.
Hope all
And
is
I'm ready,
well.
oh God, for you to use me as you please.
Looking
That
at answering
is the prayer.
on Instagram
That's the prayer.
DMs. Most of them are full.
God will use you. He is waiting on you.
Thanks, Brent.
He wants you. You're his son. You're his daughter.
Should be sitting on the other side.
This is
Yeah.
why
Okay.
we are all here. He does not wish for any of us to perish. So we thank you for joining us for Michelle Speaks. We thank you for this hour. We thank you for your commitment to us. We ask that you continue to hit us up on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. If you've got a Twitter for us, we certainly will. We will pray with you. We pray for you. Why? Because that is what God has charged us to do. As I've already said, please catch us every Sunday at noon. Every Sunday at noon. We're in the throes of a series. Yes, yours truly is going to be preaching all of October. But we have on today preaching none other than Minister Malika Rahman at noon. So if you join us, you too will catch her. Thank you. God bless you. We look forward to you seeing you. We love you. But we know that God loves you. Bye-bye.
It ain't where you're headed, but it's how you grow. It ain't about the trophies, but getting back on your feet, walking in your glory. So come on, let's go. It's time for Michelle Speaks. Yes, it is. Michelle Speaks. All right. It's time for Michelle Speaks.
Hi, this is Rich. And I'm Rusty. We host Unexpected Goals, a show about global soccer, Tuesdays from 4 to 5 on WWDB 860 AM. Each week we will discuss the results of the big matches, transfer rumors, important metrics, and Phil Foden. So, from Messi to Mbappe, Mane to Sane, Marino to Rapinoe, and the joys of the counterattack to Borussia Mönchengladbach, we've got you covered. That's Unexpected Goals, Tuesdays from 4 to 5 on WWDB AM 860.
I'm Fred Schwartz, the tax-free man, and I specialize in the tax-free retirement income plan. I'm a registered financial consultant with over 3 decades of experience helping people like you understand the current tax code to save money on taxes for retirement. Listen to learn how you can protect and grow your hard-earned money for a confident future and secure retirement in any economic climate. I'm Fred Schwartz, the tax-free man.
Saturday mornings at 7:30 on Talk 860 WWDB and WWDBAM.com. WWDB Philadelphia, 860 AM.
You can move mountains. You can move mountains. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Anything that your mind sets on.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ralph Graves. Welcome to the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. It is Wednesday morning, September 23rd, and I'm not quite sure what season it is. You wake up here in the Northeast, it's cold. Midday, it's hot. You go to bed, it's cold again. But nevertheless, Nevertheless, we are here from lovely Bala Kenwood, PA, www.dbam.com, 860 on the AM dial. My name is Ralph Graves. So happy to have you guys on the show today. My daughter is with me today. Janae, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you today?
Good. About that weather thing. I heard you ask Alexa what the temperature was.
Right.
And I heard her say 40 something. I couldn't really hear it. It was 40 something. I was like, okay. And then it was high, and I thought I heard 8, but I was like, no, that's weird.
48 when I woke up. She said 80 this afternoon. So there you have it.
I have on a jacket, jeans, and a long sleeve.
Oh, you'll be changing today. You'll be changing today. We have Brett producing the show. Good morning, Brett.
Morning, guys.
Good to see you today, man.
Good to see you, too. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. But good to have you behind the glass today producing the show. I hope everybody's doing well. You guys staying healthy, staying positive, keeping a positive mindset. I have a topic today that we're going to talk about, and it's kind of near and dear to my heart. All the topics are. But I want to talk about playing it safe and how risky that is. Playing it safe is risky. When I'm talking about playing it safe being risky, when it comes to your goals and your dreams and your purpose in life, and we're going to talk about that for a little while today. As you guys may or may not know, I pastor Cornerstone Community Church in Millville, New Jersey. 911 Church Street, Millville, New Jersey, to be exact. Been pastoring there 14 years. We'll start our 15th year in January. Thank God. And I'm loving doing that. We talk about, as believers, we talk about this faith thing, what faith in Christ really is. But for some strange reason, many Christians believe that the goal of faith is the elimination of risk, and it's not the case. The goal of faith is not the elimination of risk. There is absolutely nothing passive about following Christ. There is no such thing as risk-free faith. And so we're going to talk about playing it safe is actually risky. We're going to talk about that today. Welcome, you guys that are on Facebook Live or Instagram Live. I didn't even fire that up yet, but welcome if you're here today. So glad to have you guys here. The call-in numbers, everybody, 888-329-3306, 888-329-3306. I usually talk about the weekend. Janae, how was your weekend?
I don't know.
Did you do anything?
I feel like I probably. Oh, I did.
What'd you do?
I found my wedding dress.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
I went over budget. But
hey, you see how she told me she went over budget, Brett? She's letting me know. That's her way of saying, Dad, we're going to need a little bit more.
No, I'm just saying. I did, though.
But you liked it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Brett, how was your weekend, brother?
Very good. I got to see your producer Jason's wedding on Friday. So
how was that, man?
It was very good. It's very different because of COVID.
Yeah.
But it was very cool. It was a cool experience, especially with, what's going on. Was my buddy nervous? Was he all right? Was he calm, cool, collected? He was calm, cool. I could tell he was nervous, but he was smiling the whole time. He got a cool haircut, so.
Well, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. So weddings are in the air. Love is in the air. Love is in the air. It's very good. So sounds like everybody had a good weekend. I don't remember what I did this weekend. I did something I wanted to share.
Wednesdays are hard to remember the weekend because it's like a whole 5 days ago.
Yeah, I don't think I did all that. But I did find a television show that really captivated me. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The World's Toughest Race.
Oh, yeah, you're watching that.
Anybody ever watch any of these things?
Yep.
These people are the toughest people I've ever seen in my life. 600 and some odd kilometers, or whatever, but really turns out to be 417 miles through the Fiji Islands of walking, racing, riding a bike.
Boats.
Horses. 66 teams of 4 people.
66 teams?
Yeah.
Oh, there were only 5 left yesterday.
And Janae, you remember our canoe experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out in the wide open water.
Yeah, no, I would have called HQ roughly an hour and a half in.
But Yeah, but I discovered that, and it's 10 episodes. I think I'm like 8 episodes in. Really good stuff. Good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for checking in. Always good to see you guys there. Today's topic is playing it safe is risky. We'll be talking about that for a little while. We do have a Twitter poll. If you're following on Twitter, and Janae, the Twitter poll is...
The Twitter poll is, would you rather never lose your keys again or never lose your phone again?
There you go. Yeah. What about you, Brett? Would you never want to lose your keys again or your phone again?
That's really tough. I'd probably say never lose my keys again.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go keys as well.
I would go keys as well.
Yeah. I always eventually
find my phone. Just to find your keys, which they need to make an invention for that. For phone, can you call my phone? Oh, I got you.
Right. Yes, I'm a key guy too.
Yeah, like my keys have to go in a certain place, or like they're just gone. Plus, you only need your keys when you're leaving. You sit around the house and you can find your phone. Right. But when you're about to leave the house, you need your keys right then.
Right.
And like if they're not where you thought they were, now you're late. Now you're tearing your house apart.
Yeah.
So I'd be upset to lose my phone, but at the same time, I'd be curious how my life would be without it.
Yeah.
How much quieter it would be.
Guys, we're talking about taking risks today. Check this out. 1968, MIT meteorologist named Edward Lorenz made an accidental discovery while trying to develop a computer program that could simulate and forecast weather conditions. After a series of events, some of the events were unexpected, he concluded that a minor event like the flapping away of butterfly wings could conceivably alter wind currents sufficiently to eventually change weather conditions thousands of miles away. Lawrence then introduced the scientific community to what is now termed the butterfly effect. You guys heard that, I'm sure. After a series of events, he kind of introduced us to the butterfly effect. In other words, what the butterfly effect is this: tiny differences in input can quickly become overwhelming differences in output. And it's true in science, it's true in life. Small changes and small choices become magnified over time and have major consequences. Your small choices and small changes, they have consequences, but they have major consequences over time. Everything we change changes everything. Too often we fail, especially as Christians, to connect the dots between choices and consequences. Every choice has a domino effect that can alter our destiny. Like I said in the intro, for some reason, many Christians believe the goal of faith in Christ is the elimination of risk, and that's not the case. The goal of faith is not the elimination of risk. There's absolutely nothing passive about following Christ. There's no such thing as risk-free faith. And so we're talking about taking risk. And one of my favorite characters in the Bible who took risks is Noah. Noah was a man willing to take risk, right? No doubt, everybody around Noah thought he was foolish, right? What made the difference for Noah and enabled him to keep on going on despite the risk was his relationship with God, right? That he cultivated as they spent time together. There's something God has in mind for all of you listening as well. And here it is. Chances are what God has in mind for you will involve some risk. It will involve some risk. Chances are what God has planned for you will involve risk. Outside of a small number of extreme sports enthusiasts, most of us prefer safety over risk, right? We like to be comfortable. We prefer the safety over taking the risk, right? We like to know the outcome. We like to know what it will be before we jump in, before we pursue something. But I'm here to tell you that playing it safe is more risky than taking the risk itself. Sometimes the biggest risk of all is not doing anything. Guys, if I'm being honest with you, and I like to be honest with all my listeners globally, there are times where I like to play it safe, right? There are times I confess to prefer to play it safe sometimes, and I bet you do too. But the truth is that you and I are taking risks by playing it safe. It's even a good chance that the risk you and I are engaging in is riskier than maybe we thought. But there's something risky about just staying stagnant. Something super risky about not growing. And so we're going to talk about that today. That's a small intro. Good morning, Cheryl Bridges. Thanks for checking in. We're going to talk about why playing it safe is risky. I got some questions for you guys today. Call in, guys, 888-329-3306. You can respond. I'd love to have you call in. All lines are open. Would love to hear from you this morning. You can hit us up on Facebook Live, right? But I would love to hear from you. But we're talking about risk taking. Janae, are you a risk taker?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, there's so many different pieces of life.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm more risky in some areas, and I'm not so risky in other areas.
I'm going to point out some stuff to you. What about you, Brett? Are you a risk taker?
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, he said I love taking risks. Kayer, are you a risk taker?
Sometimes.
Yes. We take risks every day, right? And we take risks. We're gonna dive into this, but a lot of folks have risky behaviors. Not taking care of your body is a risky behavior, right? Avoiding the doctor, or that's what I did yesterday. Went to the dentist. Avoiding the dentist is risky behavior. Yeah, right? I went to the dentist yesterday. Avoiding it is risky behavior, right?
Oh, I have a risky, but I can't tell it. I can't tell people though. Oh, I can't.
Well, then why would you bring it up to the millions of people listening? Refusing to forgive is risky behavior. Procrastinating is risky behavior. Overthinking, even making hasty decisions is risky behavior. Not getting enough sleep. See, the list can go on and on. Ignoring self-care, right? Not carving out time to spend with God is risky behavior. If you didn't pray today, that's risky behavior. Negative thoughts and beliefs. See, all these are risky behaviors.
I live life on the edge then.
Lack of hobbies, gossip, avoided working through issues. So risky behavior is familiar to us when it comes to our own personal stuff. But when God is calling us to a higher level, God is calling us to something deeper in our purpose, because God is going to call you to something that it's going to cause you to take some risk. First thing we say is no. So we're familiar with risky behavior. So today we're going to talk about why we need to stretch it in the positive and step out and being who God has called us to be. The call-in number is 888-329-3306. Call in, be part of it. You're listening to WWDBAM.com. My name is Pastor Ralph Graves Jr., 860 AM on the tuner. We'll be right back after these messages.
Revive Hydration is a proud sponsor of the Ralph Graves Morning Show. Revive Hydration is the first IV hydration and vitamin infusion service in the South Jersey area. For more details, please visit their website at www.revivehydration.com, or you can give them a call at 856-485-0070. Again, their website, www.revivehydration.com, or give them a call at 856-485-0070.
Do you believe in your singing abilities? The I Believe Project is giving a chance for 5 singers to record an album in a professional studio for free. Be sure to submit your video. Friends and fans, along with celebrity judges, get to help choose the winners, calling all singers and critics. And friends and fans, get ready to help vote for your favorites. Visit IBelieveProject.live for more details and your chance to win.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I am the author of this book called Unstoppable. Now, what Unstoppable is about is it's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. Why don't you pick up your copy today? Go to my website, www.ralphgravesjr.com. Go to Amazon. This book is sold wherever fine books are sold, anywhere in the country. My name is Ralph Graves. Let's be unstoppable together.
gmail.com.
What's going on Facebook Live, Instagram Lives? You guys on.
Revive Hydration is the first IV hydration and vitamin service in the South.
Birthday, do what you want. Matter of fact, we didn't recognize birthdays.
ReviveHydration.com or you can hit them up at 856-485-0070. Again, their website, www.revivehydration.com, or give them a call at 856-485-0070.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is Ralph Graves. Welcome to the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we are talking about playing it safe and how risky it is. But we also have a segment that we failed to talk about this morning.
No, it happens now.
What is that? What is that? I tried it and I like. That's what we were talking about.
You added the like part. You don't have to like the thing you tried.
Well, what is it? What's it called?
It's just I tried.
Okay. Anybody try anything new this weekend before we start talking about risky self? Anybody try anything new?
I did.
What you try?
I finally did I made my own sourdough starter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I try. It won't be ready to use for like another week.
Right.
Because you gotta like let it sit there and grow and ferment.
Okay. So, but you tried it.
Yeah, it was so messy, but I liked it.
Okay. Life's about trying stuff. Brett, what you tried this weekend? You try anything new? I tried.
Not anything new, but something especially risky, like today's topic. I actually walked on fire.
Did you?
Pebble things.
Explain that, man.
I forget where, but it was a guy who had a show here about like positive speaking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And said you can promote yourself and make better of yourself by just walking on fire. If you can do that, you can do anything. And that's what I did.
And did it burn?
Nah, so what we did is we had our feet outside and they sprayed the grass with water, cold water, and we just walked around the grass.
Okay.
Numb our feet, and then we walked on fire.
As fast as you could.
It was mind over matter too. All you gotta tell yourself is cold.
So Brett is a fire walker. He tried it. Very good for you. Right. Kaya, did you walk on fire this weekend?
No.
What did you try? You tried anything?
No.
No.
I feel like I'm being boring now.
No.
Because I'm normally always going out doing stuff.
Yeah.
Dumb stuff. No. I'm gonna have something for you next week.
I didn't try anything either this weekend, but I like that fire walking. But hey, you should try. So
we had like two extremes there, though, like bread baking and then fire walking. One's an extreme.
Right. Guys, we're talking about how playing it safe is risky. You have to take on risk. You shouldn't take on risk spontaneously. I'm talking about taking risk in your career and in your purpose in your life. Just don't be spontaneous. That's foolish, right? If we go back to where I talked about one of my favorite Bible characters, Noah. Noah proceeded to build the ark after receiving specific instructions from God. So when it comes to taking risks, here are a few things that I want you to keep in mind, all right, when it comes to taking risk. Before I didn't even have this one up, but make sure, believer, that you're in the will of God, okay? You're in the will of God, okay? But be honest about your capacity for risk. Be honest about what are you talking about, Pastor Grace? Well, you guys know I stay in the gym and I'm a gym rat. You don't begin lifting weights by grabbing you don't begin doing curls by grabbing the 70-pound weights, right? You're not going to be successful. Beginners don't do that, right? You have to start with lighter weights, and as your muscles develop, you're able to lift heavier things. So the same is true about risk. Start with smaller risk. As you develop your risk muscle, you'll increase your capacity for greater risk. All right. So be honest about your capacity for risk. Now, all of us have a capacity for it because I ran down about 25 things that are really risky behaviors that, some of you chimed in like, wow, I am a risk taker, And so, but when we're talking about personal growth, when we're talking about stretching ourselves, we're talking about being better in business and ministry, or just being better husbands, wives, better friends. Be honest about your capacity for risk. Be honest about it, okay? Make sure you're in the will of God and be honest about it. You may want to remember, everything begins to change when we change. So you want to be honest about your capacity for risk. You know. And number two, they're not going, hey, good morning, Jazz. Then I'm gonna have you guys chime in. Make sure it lines up. Number one is be honest about it. Now make sure it lines up. What are you talking about, Pastor Graves? Make sure this risk is lining up with your values, your priorities, your passion, your purpose, your calling. If it doesn't line up, it's not worth taking the risk. It's just that simple. It has to line up. So when we talk about taking risk and growing business and growing into the people God called us to be, make sure it lines up with your values, your priorities, your passions, your purpose. Let me ask you this. You got anybody in this room or anybody callers, anybody want to call in 888-329-3306? You ever write down what your values are? Do you even know what your values are? You know, listen, if you don't have your own set of values or priorities, you will adhere to someone else's values and priorities and purpose. So we really need to write that down and understand what your values and what your and what do you value? What are your priorities? Now, and if that risk does not line up with that, right? If it doesn't line up with that, it's not worth the risk. It's just that simple. Questions, comments, concerns, you guys can chime in 888-329-3306. Folks on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, drop your comments. Guys in the room, Kyer, Janae, Brett, comment on some of this, your capacity. How is your capacity for risk? Do you have a high capacity for risk, Janae?
Yeah, I guess I do have a high capacity for risk. But I don't think I count my choices as, you know, like put them in a category 1 to 10 how risky it is. I think I just live my life, right. And then, you know, like somebody will say, "Oh, that was risky." Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I don't know.
Yeah. What about you, Kyer?
I agree. Like, since you named the list of everything that's risky, and I never really thought about it like that. So then, right. But I don't really think about it. I just do stuff.
Not having a savings account is risky. You know what I'm saying?
That's very risky.
Brett, what about you, man?
I think I need to take more risks and be more out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. You know, and for me, I just need to make sure that my risks are lining up with my values and just not doing stuff to do stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like realizing if something is a risk.
Yeah.
And then deciding, is it a risk you want to take? Is this the risk that lines up with your values?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Good morning, Pastor Lomax. Good to see you, man. You know, and I think, you know, I just want to stretch. I want to grow. So does this risk stretch me as a man, as a husband, father, grandfather, pastor? Does it line up with my DNA? You know, will I be a better man for it? You know, and so that really struck a chord with me, is like making sure that my risks line up. Good morning to Shauna Clark. Always good to see you on the Facebook Live. You know, it's risky, man. It's risky not taking risks. It's risky being outside of the will of God. It's risky just playing it safe all the time. Through our risk, we do have the capacity to grow. And I started out this program by saying that if you are truly called of God, right? Because I know believers will love to say, you know, that they believe that, you know, once I accept Christ as my personal savior, they like to believe everything is going to be all right. Let me be completely honest with you, is that when God calls you to do something, you best believe it's going to involve some risk. You better believe it's going to involve some risk. So be honest about your capacity for risk. Make sure it lines up. A lot of folks on Facebook Live are chiming in. Jennifer Waters says she took some risk this past week and bought some stocks. All right, hey, it's risky, but you know what? She wants to experience some financial liberty. There you go. So you have to do some things. Our Twitter poll today is, Janae, what is it again?
Would you rather never lose your keys again or never lose your phone again?
Yes, I'm interested to hear what Kyer is going to say with that. Kaya, would you rather never lose your keys again or never lose your phone again?
My phone, because my girl has a spare key.
Okay.
So I'll be good. Need the phone.
So you're okay. Well, all the rest of us said keys. You say phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a little extreme. I could lose the phone because I have the iPad and the computer. Everything's connected.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Either one. Yes, Instagram Live. I will have a recap of this message so you can catch it later. Yes, I will. I'll make sure it's posted so you can see it. So you can see it and where you can find it. You can always go to www.dbam.com and click on the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. And this is our 45th episode. So you can catch all the episodes. But today's recap, Brett, what today? What time will that be up? It's usually up right after I leave.
Right before you leave. That's my goal.
Yeah. All right. So yes. Instagram Live. Yes, you can www.dbam.com. Click on today's show, and it'll be a recap of the show, and you'll be able to hear it from beginning to end. So we're talking about taking risks. We're talking about making sure that you do take some risks that line up with your purpose, that line up with your values, your passion, your purpose. If it doesn't line up, it's not worth the risk. All right. If it doesn't line up, it's not worth the risk. Our Twitter poll today: would you rather never lose your keys again or never lose your phone again? So call in, guys, 888-329-3306. Point number three. I want to talk about it quickly. And then we'll come back and dive a little deeper. Go into it with your eyes wide open. In other words, the truth is, if you want to take more risk in your life, it doesn't mean that every risk is worth taking. In other words, carefully consider all of your options. Are there ways to minimize this risk? What less risky options can you pursue? Is the timing right? If everything goes haywire, what's the worst thing that can happen? And perhaps most important, what's the cost of not taking it? So when I enter a risk, these are all the things that I ask myself. My eyes are wide open when I enter something that is going to stretch me. When I enter something that could be risky, I make sure that it's a question I ask myself: is there anything less risky that can really stretch me in this way that I can pursue? If not, is my timing right? Hey, if everything does go wrong, what's the worst that can happen? And the most important thing I ask myself: what will it cost me if I don't take the risk? All right. So go in with your eyes wide open. Go in with your eyes wide open. There's some things that God is calling you guys into. There's some things that are going to stretch you. There's some of you right now sitting on the sidelines, knowing that you were designed to do A, B, C, D. But because it requires some risks, that's too risky. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to invest in myself. I'm not going to stop that and start this. No. Listen, whatever you've been called into, whatever you've been called, when you get called to move to the next level, it involves risk. You're listening to WWDBAM.com, 860 on the AM tuner, right? My name is Pastor Ralph Graves Jr. We will be right back with the verse of the day, and we'll keep talking about this topic on taking risks.
Revive Hydration is a proud sponsor of the Ralph Graves Morning Show. Revive Hydration is the first IV hydration and vitamin infusion service in the South Jersey area. For more details, please visit their website at www.revivehydration.com, or you can give them a call at 856-485-0070. Again, their website, www.revivehydration.com, or give them a call at 856-485-0070.
Do you believe in your singing abilities? The I Believe Project is giving a chance for 5 singers to record an album in a professional studio for free. Be sure to submit your video. Friends and fans, along with celebrity judges, get to help choose the winners, calling all singers and critics. And friends and fans get ready to help vote for your favorites. Visit IBelieveProject.live for more details and your chance to win.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I am the author of this book called Unstoppable. Now, what Unstoppable is about is it's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. Why don't you pick up your copy today? Go to my website, www.ralphgravesjr.com. Go to Amazon. This book is sold wherever fine books are sold anywhere in the country. My name is Ralph Graves. Let's be unstoppable together.
X.
Facebook Live. Taking risk. Are you willing to take the risk to be the person God designed you to be? Are you willing to move? Are you willing to take the job or leave the job? Are you willing to invest? Are you willing to go back to school? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to build that ark like Noah built that ark? Are you willing to do all that Instagram? Are you willing to take the risk?
Again, their website, www.revivehydration.com, or give them a call at 856-485-0070.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. I just had to read that off the banner. Now it's time for the verse of the day. Taking risks, even the good ones, can cause some worry or a bit of anxiety, but in life you have to take the risk or lose the chance. Matthew 6:27 asks us simply, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Take the risk. What do you have to lose? I'm Janae Graves, and that was your verse of the day.
Take the risk, listeners. 860 AM, www.dbam.com. And I was saying this during the break to some social media platforms. I can see me during the break. Are you willing to take the risk of being who God called you to be? Are you willing to leave the job and start the business, or maybe take the job, or maybe invest in yourself? Are you willing to go back to school? Are you willing to sit and take the test again and again and again? I took it 8 times and I haven't passed it. Take it 9 times. Are you willing to do that? Or are you just going to throw in the towel? There is something about persevering. You know, persevering is a risk. Persevering is a risk. You know, will you risk being ridiculed and laughed at? Think about Noah when he was building that ark. 120 years. And they had never seen rain, right? The ridicule he must have faced. When you are building what God has called you to build, when you are being who God has called you to be, yes, you're going to risk ridicule. You're going to risk people talking about you. But if you are obedient, it will save you and your family, and you will live how God has called you to live and how God destined you to live. So we're talking about taking the risks today. I know I'm talking to business owners. Is it worth taking the risk of maybe redesigning your place, or I don't know, switching up the hours, or if you own a restaurant, bringing in something new on the menu? I don't know, but you can. It's risky not taking risks. That's all we're talking about. That's all we're talking about. Hey guys, I pastor a church. I pastor Cornerstone Community Church in Millville, New Jersey, and every Sunday we're there virtually at 10 a.m. That's what time it starts, right, Janae?
No,
Janae runs
10:30.
10:30,
Yeah.
Virtually 10:30 at wwc3ecornerstone.net. We're there at 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m. You know, we're there. We're there. You can show up in the building now. We opened up a little bit. Safety precautions. You got to wear the mask, got the social distance. We got all these other things. But if you just want to watch online, you can watch online as well. But we are there, having a great time serving the Lord, doing there, and keep us in prayer.
The more that we're talking like about just like risks and how they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere, and it's like, should I risk leaving the house 5 minutes late? Like, what's gonna happen if I leave 5 minutes late?
They're everywhere.
Or, like, what's gonna happen if I make a left instead of a right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Good morning, all the friends on Instagram Live. Veronica, I see you. Good morning. Hey, guys, if you haven't, check in and get my Truth Boost. I send out a Truth Boost every morning at 9 a.m. Hits your phone. Truth Boost is just a word to kind of encourage you through the day. You text C3E. That's Charlie 3 Echo. C3E. You can tell I'm retired police officer. C3E to the number 313131 to receive the daily Truth Boost. Also, I wrote a book called Unstoppable. You can go to my website, RalphGraceJr.com, pick up your copy of Unstoppable, Amazon.com, Amazon Prime, Barnes & Noble, wherever fine books are sold. You can pick up a copy of my book, Unstoppable, 7 Universal Laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success, all biblically based principles. But you have a good time reading it. It really is a page turner. You know, I'm proud of that project, working on another project, proud of that. You can listen to me on Spotify. I have some great guests on the Ralph Grace Jr. Show on Spotify, YouTube channel, the whole nine, right? We are everywhere if you want to connect. And, you know, just talking to people with some great stories about how they overcame and how they were unstoppable. I talk to risk takers. That's what kind of spurred me on to have this show today. Twitter poll, check in. Twitter poll is, would you rather never lose your keys again or never lose your phone again? That's the Twitter poll. I don't even know how it's doing on Twitter. I'll check the numbers later on. But okay, so we're talking about playing it safe is risky. Playing it safe is a risky thing to do. So let's review the points. Be honest about your capacity for risk. Make sure that the risk you do take, because you're going to have to take some risk. I'm telling you, to live life to the max, you're going to have to take some risk, right? Make sure it lines up with your values, your priorities, your passion, and your purpose. It's not worth, if it doesn't line up with those things, it's not worth taking it. Go into it with your eyes wide open. Go into it with your eyes wide open. The questions you should be asking yourself is this: are there ways to minimize it? Are there any less risky options I can pursue? Is my timing right? If everything does go wrong, what's the worst that can happen? And perhaps the most important is, what's the cost if I don't take this risk? If I don't take this risk, what's the cost? What's the cost? Good morning, Judy on Instagram. I see you. Good morning. Thanks for checking in. What is it? So, point number four in taking a risk, create a plan. All right? God has laid something on your heart, and I'm knocking stuff over here. God has laid something on your heart, and but you're going to need to create a plan. You're going to need to create a plan. Foolish risk is jumping out of an airplane without a parachute, right? It's just foolish. It's just as foolish as pursuing a risk without a plan. Does it mean the plan can't change along the way, right? It would be silly not to adjust your plan as you learn and grow. I often say the goal never changes, but the plan sometimes does. All right? Your goal should never change, but sometimes the plan to getting to that goal has to change. Any coaches listening? Football coaches, basketball coaches, baseball coaches. We go into something with a game plan. The goal is to win, but sometimes the game plan has to change along the way. So while you're involved in the risk, don't worry about changing the plan. Sometimes you change the plan, but never the goal. I heard something interesting yesterday at Ralph Graves University. Just in case you're wondering what Ralph Graves University is, it's my car. I play all my audio books and all of the things. So I very rarely listen to music. When people are in the car with me, I listen to music or whatever they want to listen to. But with me, when I'm by myself, what?
When there's someone else in your car, you don't listen to stuff they want to listen to.
But I put on music. I tolerate. Yeah. Watercolors, jazz. Sirius XM has not paid me yet, but I do listen to this. But anyway, at Ralph Graves University, I listen to books the whole time in my car. Heard this yesterday. It's not so much like it's the goal is important, but more important than the goal is who you become while pursuing the goal. right? Who you'll have to become while pursuing the goal is just as important to the goal. That's what that is. So you may have this goal, like guys, think of a goal that is worth the risk that you have, but understand that you're going to have to become a certain person before you even achieve that goal. I want to be a millionaire. Well, you're going to have to become another person before you achieve that. You know, one of the best compliments that somebody can give you is you've changed. You ought to say, thank you. Thank you. Oh, man, you've changed. Thank you. What I'm not supposed to change? I'm a tree. I'm just not supposed to change. I'm not supposed to grow. And so in pursuing your goal and your purposes, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to understand that you're going to change along the way, right? You have a goal. Most of the times before we get to that goal, we're going to have to become another person. You're going to have to create a plan. Create a plan. Stick to it.
And that's why it's also important that you make sure that it lines up with your values, because you could be changing the plan, keeping the goal the same, but you're changing into like a person who, you know, does things immorally, or, you know, you're cutting corners just for the goal, and like you're taking the risk by changing your plan just to stay on, you know, the path to your goal, but at the same time your like soul is dying.
Right. You're absolutely right. So it has to line up with your values. I mean, this is strategic. Success, walking in the will of God successfully, is intentional, guys. It's intentional, man. It's just don't wake up and say I'm in the will of God. I'm just walking in the will of God. No, it's intentional. It's intentional.
In the will of God.
I mean, Noah had to drive every stinking nail in an ark, and he wasn't an architect. He wasn't a builder. It's a gardener. And all of a sudden the Lord says it's going to rain, build an ark, right? Create a plan. But God didn't tell him to build the ark without giving him plans. So create a plan, create a plan. You know, I guess all my children are chiming in about my selections in my car. My other daughter chimed in on Facebook Live talking about I put on what I think my passenger wants to hear. Okay, everybody got jokes? So from now on, no. From now on, all of you will be listening to Ralph Graves University every time I get my car.
I've never been to Ralph Graves University.
Well, you will on the ride back today. How about that? You will today. You will today. Look, Kai's being quiet. I enjoy the music, Pastor. Don't change it up. You have to create a plan. You have to create a plan. What do you guys, how are you guys at creating a plan for your life and for your risk taking? Have you thought about it?
I plan very okay. It's like I set the plan and then I don't revisit it. It's just, that's the plan. Get there. Like, I don't like sit down and like do specifics,
right?
Or like step 1, step 2. It's just, this is the plan.
Yeah,
this is the plan.
But you're not the only one. A lot of us do that.
Yeah,
we write down the plan, and but it's the beginning.
Yeah.
How about you, Bretta? You good at making a plan when it comes to your success, your growth, and are you good at following it when it calls for you to taking risk that way?
Too good at it, where I put in my calendar.
Good.
Put everything in my calendar.
That's good, man. I'm just learning that.
Yeah,
52 years old.
Same.
Just learning that. Putting stuff in their calendar, have the alarm going off. These two here who assist me every day, they have access to the calendar. So yes, that's good. What about you, Kai, as far as creating a plan?
I feel like I'm great at planning stuff. Sometimes I get into specifics when planning.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just already have it in my head. Like, I know exactly, like, boom, 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 I need.
Okay. So. Okay. Very good. Create a plan. Next, point number five, because I want to get to, I got 6 points today. Hey, guys, you haven't called in, 888-329-3306. Lines are wide open. I'm starting to believe y'all don't be listening. I'm starting to believe I don't have an audience, Jason. I mean, Brett looking at me like, man, don't worry about it. All right. Point number 5, don't go it alone. Don't go it alone. You're going to take this risk, right? Don't go it alone, right? Don't go it alone. Check it out. And I'm going to read this Instagram comment that just popped up. Without those walks with God, Noah might have given up along the way. That's why you need to make connecting with God a priority as well, right? The more support, the better. Who in your circle of family and friends can be a part of your network that stretches you, causes you to grow? People who encourage you and hold you accountable. Why not work with the coach? Why not work with somebody who can help you through the many changes and challenges that pursuing a risk will bring? Pursuing a risk will bring changes and challenges. Listen, guys, relationships are important, but the right ones are very important. I have a network of men and women that I'm around that hold me accountable and stretch my creativity. Hold me accountable and stretch my creativity. So when you're pursuing the risk, you can't go it alone. Let me read this Instagram comment. Judy133, thanks for checking on Instagram. She says, success should not come at any cost. Any cost could mean compromising your values. Yes, your standards, your personality. Success will come when you pursue trusting God to direct your path and not lose your self-worth in the process. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us, Judy, of that. Thank you. Of course, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Bible readers and Bible scholars, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. He will direct your path. He will direct it. Don't go it alone. Trusting in God is not, that's got to be part of it. Asking God to surround you with the network of people that'll pull you, stretch you, force you into creativity. Now, I know we live in a day and age, and you know, I know, and I pastor a church, so I know what I have to combat. I combat the thinking of, you know, I don't have to go to church. Okay, we're talking about a network of people, right? I thank God for my church family. And you don't know what you're missing if you're don't have a church family in a place where God has planted you. I thank God for those in my church family. Yeah, I pastor them and I lead them, but I have been blessed so much just by relationships of people who care, people who stretch you, people hold you accountable. So if you don't have a church family, you need to get around some sort of group like that. You cannot go it alone, especially when it comes to taking risks, because I'm telling you, as sure as I sit here today, you will want to quit. You will want to throw in the towel. You will say, this ain't for me. You want to go back to Egypt. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. On your way to the promised land, you want to turn around and go right back to Egypt. You need some people around you and say, no, that's not what we're going to do. It's not what we're going to do. You're going to keep pressing. You're going to keep taking that risk. You're going to keep pressing and pursuing that promise that God has given you. Hey, do you guys have a network? Guys in this room, don't go it alone. You guys have a network? I mean, that's sort of. Okay. All right. See, but this is what you need to give thought to. Kaya, do you have a network?
I don't know. I have your network.
Right. And so does Kaya. So does Kaya. But outside of my network, do you have? And I'm glad to be part of you guys' network. You know, I want to. A little bit. Yeah. I want to be the guy that pushes you. Like I have people that push me. Like when I'm about to do something, I got mentors that they have no idea how they invade my thoughts when I'm about to either quit something or maybe step outside the will of God. What about you, Brett? Do you have a network? Yeah. Come and join mine, man. You know, it's a network of people where we push each other and grow. You have to have that network. You can't go it alone. You know why? Because there's some, we will have conversations with ourselves, right? That we will perceive things and have conversations with ourselves that it's not, you know, what we are saying to ourselves are not necessarily true. So we need people to bounce things off of.
Yeah, you can convince yourself of anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
You can convince yourself that the worst is going to happen. But you need a network of people that you can bounce things off of, that'll hold you accountable. That'll say, hey, man, hey, young lady, that's your dream, all right? You said
you wanted to do that. What are you doing? I'm just asking. What are you doing to do that? So don't go it alone, because there's going to be changes and challenges. This brings me to my last point. Along the way, while you're risk-taking, while you're growing in grace, while you're growing in Christ, while you're pursuing your goal, while you're changing your plan, expect challenges. Expect challenges. Thank you, Deshauna. She said it takes a village. It really does. It really does. Expect, expect challenges along the way. Expect challenges along the way. Sometimes the challenges are past experience or past experiences that have a way of coloring what we see today. Sometimes they are circumstances we never anticipated. Either way, there will be challenges. Do not make excuses. Don't let up, or don't let it stop you. Don't let the challenges stop you. Zero in on what the risk to giving up would be. Some of you are in school right now. Some of you are pursuing higher education. Some of you have started businesses. What if you gave up? If you quit? How risky is that? If you quit in the middle of pursuing this risk that lines up with your core values, your DNA, your passion, that lines up with the will of God, how risky is it if you quit in the middle of it? How risky is it if you don't persevere? Going back to Noah, he would have lost his entire family if he decided, I'm not building this ark anymore. 80 years have gone by, and God's promise has not been manifested in my life, so I'm not going to keep building. You know what? I may not even be preaching to you. I'm probably preaching to myself right now, considering the conversation I had with my wife last night, right? You know the promise. You can't give up in the process of it. Brings me to another point. You better marry somebody who's part of your network, right? Now, when I say part of your network, somebody who's building you. She's the principal. She's the principal in who Ralph Graves Jr. is. I couldn't imagine coming home and sometimes being weary, sometimes ready to throw in the towel, and coming home to somebody and say, I don't care, just quit then. I couldn't imagine Brett coming home, to somebody like that. Been married 29 years, and she's been my biggest supporter, and I believe I've been hers. But that's part of that network. Stop dating the wrong people. Stop marrying the wrong people. Expect these challenges. I don't know why I said that, but that's for somebody listening. Expect the challenges in your life and in this journey of taking risk. And don't throw in the towel. They're coming. Anthony Salzman Burks, what's happening, man? He says, live life. Take risk. You only die once. You got that right. You only die one time. Take these risks. Expect the challenges. What flavor would life be without the risk? Brett, you did something that I've never met anybody that firewalked. Make sure you write that in the book that I'm going to make you write. I'm going to challenge you to write. Write your book. Put that in your book. I firewalked. I firewalked. Guys, let me review real fast. Let me review. I talked about challenges today. I talked about taking risks. The topic was playing it safe is risky. Now, I just wanted to drive that home. Playing it safe is risky. Listen, I don't want to die with any arrows in my quiver. When I die, I want it to be known that I gave it my all. I emptied everything that I had. So be honest about your capacity for risk. Make sure it lines up, right, with your goals. Make sure it lines up with your goals, your passion, your purpose. Go in it with your eyes wide open. Ask yourself the important questions. Create a plan. Have a plan. Number 5, don't go it alone. You got to have that network of people. Got to have that network of people who you guys are pouring into them and they're pouring into you. Expect challenges along the way. Now, real fast, we're talking about having that network of people. Myself and my good friend Milton Corsi developed the plan, developed the strategy, developed the program called the Gulfstream Way. It's a high-performance program for today's emerging leaders. You go to my website right now. And for $99, we're going to actually launch the larger program in January, But go to my website right now. And for $99, you get access to the private Facebook group. You get access to some great lessons taught by Milton Corsi and myself. You be part of this network that really stretches you and grows. And then we'll be introducing you. And if you care to join into the 6-month program, and we're only taking 10 people in that 6-month program. That's how deep of a dive we're going to go. That's going to kick off in January. But go and RalphGracejr.com. Pick up my book, Unstoppable. Register for the Gulfstream Way. Connect with me on Twitter, Instagram, we have any social media, LinkedIn platform. Call the station here, www.dbam.com, 860 AM. You guys want to take out an ad. You've heard some ads playing along the way. Ads are important, keeping the show on the air. If you want to take out some ads, you heard a commercial, somebody could hear yours. Reach out to us and let's make that happen. Final questions, comments, concerns, guys. I thought this was a great show. I enjoyed it. You guys enjoy it?
Yeah.
Take some risks. Take some risks. Shona Clark said, you never know what was beyond your current place if you give up. Thank you, Deshauna, for saying that. Do not give up. Persevere. Stay in the fight. Keep getting it. Keep going along the way. I hope these shows are helping you guys. I hope that, because they certainly helped me along the way. Pray for one another. Life is full of challenges. Everybody you see is going through something. So lift up each other in prayer. My name is Ralph Grace Jr. Any final thoughts, you guys? Final thoughts?
Nope.
No final thoughts?
Get your steps in.
Get your steps in? What about you, Cayenne?
Have a good day.
What about you, Brett? Any final thoughts today? Leave your comfort zone. Thank you for that. Guys, you've been listening to the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. We'll be back here again next Wednesday. As always, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior is the best decision you'll ever make. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. See you next week, everybody. Thank you, Facebook Live. Thank you, Instagram Live, for checking in. Thank you for being part of the show. Take the risk, everybody. I'll see you guys again next week.
Could you use some help with Medicare expenses?